Sonic's Green Hills Adventures Season 1 Chapter 24, Meeting the President. The next morning, they all woke up reluctantly because deep down, they were all very nervous about meeting the president.
Morning, everyone. I'm going to call Commander Jonathan just to make sure everything's ready to go.
Tom explained as he picked up his phone and dialed the commander's number.
Alright, but quick question. When did you get the time to get his number?
I kind of asked one of the gun soldiers on their way out.
Tom replied with a shrug. A few minutes later, Tom came back.
Okay, he says that the president is so eager to see us that he wants us to come whenever we're ready.
So basically, the president is just waiting for us?
Sonic asked curiously as Shadow helped him with his disguise.
Yeah, pretty much.
So when should we go?
We'll go after breakfast. I just want to get this out of the way so it leaves my nerves alone. I'm sure you would agree, right, Sonic and Shadow?
Definitely, Donut Dad.
Sonic said in reply while Shadow simply nodded. So after breakfast, they got a taxi and headed to the White House.
Well, this is it.
Shadow sighed as they all took a deep breath. Then they walked up to the door with Sonic in Tom's arms.
So how are we gonna handle this?
Let's hear what the president has to say and see where it goes from there. But most importantly, we have to keep our cool.
Follow me, the president is waiting.
A man in uniform said, and they followed him to the president's office.
Oh, you made it good. Now, just to let you know, this will be broadcasted on the news tonight for everyone to see. So not only I understand all of this, but everyone will.
The president explained seriously.
Ooh, sweet. That's brilliant. Thank you, Mr. President. That makes this a whole lot simpler. However, please do us a favor and don't do it for Green Hills. For one, they've already accepted me, and two, I want to keep Shadow's arrival a surprise for them.
Sonic said as Tom helped him out of his disguise and Shadow took off his.
Whoa, seeing you both in person is an experience within itself. It's very nice to meet you, and consider that favor done.
The president said in awe as he shook Sonic's and Shadow's hand.
It's nice to meet you two. Just in case if you didn't know, I'm Sonic Wachowski the Hedgehog. You see, Tom and Maddie right here adopted me a few days ago.
And I'm Shadow, soon-to-be Wachowski the Hedgehog. I'm also the ultimate life form. The Wachowskis are planning to officially adopt me once we return to Green Hills.
Whoa, really? You two are gonna be brothers? How wonderful. Who are they?
My name is Marina Melody. I'm Jessica Mills. It's a pleasure.
I'm Crystal, and might I say, this place is as beautiful as I imagined.
And I'm Joey. It's so cool of you to take the time to do this.
It's nice to meet all of you. So here's what's going to happen. I'll interview each of you. Now please follow me.
The president said happily.
Oh, this will be kind of fun.
Sonic said as he felt a huge wave of relief. Then they were in front of the door of the broadcasting room.
So who would like to go first?
I'll go first.
Sonic said happily as Tom carried him over to the chair and put him down gently. Sonic then took a deep breath to calm down his nerves before the camera started rolling.
So Sonic, why did you have to be carried everywhere since you entered the White House? You see, that made me worried for you.
Well, when I was in gun headquarters, they injected an experimental serum into me that neutralized my super speed abilities. In fact, it made my legs numb, so that's why. But don't worry, Commander Jonathan is working on the cure as we speak. I'll be back to my speed self by the end of the week.
Well, that's good to hear. Now, this is something that the whole country wants to know. What happened on the night of the massive blackout?
Oh, that was by accident. First, a little backstory. I was living on Earth for 10 years, but to keep my powers safe, I was all alone and stayed in a cave in the woods near Green Hills. So on that night, I played a baseball game with myself. That's also one example of how fast I can be. When I got a home run, I got too caught up in my fantasy that I got excited to receive a high five. The reality of the extent of my loneliness hit me hard. So I started running laps around the field, getting faster and faster as my feelings of pain, sadness, and frustration built up more and more. That caused the electric blue lightning to course through my quills. Combine that with the high speeds I was running at, I finally jumped in the air and let out a pain, frustrated scream. That led to a giant blue explosion, which took out the power.
Sonic replied sadly as he looked back on that memory. The president looked like he was about to cry out of sympathy for Sonic.
Sonic, I'm so sorry that happened. So, what do you like to do in your spare time?
Well, I love to run, hang out with my friends, and soak up every second of living life. In fact, me and my friends are in a band, the Blue Angels. I'm their lead guitarist. I even wrote some songs. One of them we performed at a school musical showcase. I have a video of it that was shot by my friend Jessica. I wrote the other two just yesterday. So once we return to Green Hills, we'll get to truly hear them.
Oh, whoa, that's awesome. I'd love to show that video to the country. So do you mind if I do that?
Of course he can. I know you all will love it.
Sonic replied as he looked directly into the camera, winking and giving a thumbs up.
Thank you, Sonic.
The president said as he signaled the cameraman to stop the cameras.
I'll get your dad so you can exit the room.
The president said as he got up and went over to the door to let Tom in.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Sonic said as Tom came over to him.
All right, who's next?
That would be me.
Shadow said as he walked into the room. Once Shadow was seated, the cameras rolled again.
Well, Shadow, what's your story? How did you end up in Gun Headquarters?
Well, I was created by a brilliant professor who had a dream to create the ultimate life form in hopes that I could help and protect humanity. However, Gun heard about my high power level and thought I was made as a weapon to hurt humanity. So they came and killed everyone involved with the project. That's when they captured me. I was only 10 at the time.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that.
Thanks, Mr. President. But now that I'm going to be part of a family, I can finally put the past behind me.
Shadow said happily. Then Shadow left the room. Next was both Crystal and Joey.
So how did you meet Sonic?
Well, me and Crystal were on a walk when he caught our eye as he was walking Ozzy. And so we said hi. Then we asked him some questions about how his powers work and what his home planet was like. Then, on his first day of school, we helped him find the principal's office. And so we've been friends ever since.
I see. So what do you think of him?
Oh, that's easy. He's super cool, sweet, supportive, and loyal. And his optimistic energy is quite contagious.
Whoa, that's great.
Next was Marina.
So how did you meet Sonic?
I met him on his first day of school, although more specifically in music class. And when the teacher asked him to sing for us, Sonic's voice was incredible and still is. And it gave me an idea. When we heard it play on the electric guitar during the second half of class, I was definitely sure of this idea. So I offered him the lead guitarist position in our band, and of course he said yes. It turns out we have something in common. We are very passionate about music.
I see. That's awesome.
Is there anything else you want to know?
No, that's all I wanted to know. Thank you, Marina, for your time.
No problem, Mr. President.
Marina said as she left the room. Then it was Jessica's turn.
Hello, Jessica. Can you tell me your experiences hanging out with Sonic?
Well, to be honest, it didn't start out that pleasant. I was kind of bullying him and almost kidnapped him. It was because I thought he deserved to be in that scientific lab. However, when I was heading to the court hearing with him, I realized I was completely wrong. But I knew I still needed to pay for my mistake. We're friends now, but I'm not just here to support him in this troubling time. I'm here to help make up for my mistake. I know he already forgave me and we're friends now, but what I did was so not okay. I'm going to make things right. After all, Sonic is a very understanding person.
That's a fascinating story. I'm happy you guys got through it and are friends.
Yeah, me too.
Jessica said in agreement. Then she left the room as Tom and Maddie entered it. Sonic's point of view.
Me, Shadow, and our friends were sitting in the next room waiting for Donata and Pretzel Mom to return from their interview. I was kind of curious on how the others' interviews went. So, how did your interviews go? Mine went pretty smoothly. I, for one, think that the president is a very cool guy. I asked curiously to start up a conversation.
I totally agree, Sonic. Although he kind of asked a lot of personal questions. However, I think it was to validate our opinions of you with evidence to back it up.
That makes total sense. I hope the rest of the country takes it as well as he did.
You know what, guys? I've been thinking about Jay and Veronica. And oh boy, am I going to give them a talking to when we get back.
Do you mind if I join you for that?
Shadow asked very seriously, which shocked me.
Of course, Shadow. And speaking of which, you'll love the Greenhouse School.
Thanks, Jessica. I need to make sure they never hurt my little brother like that again.
Shadow said thankfully as angry tears fell down his face. Thankfully for what I wanted to do, I was on the same couch as him, so I went over and hugged him. I agree, Shadow. Justice will be served when it comes to those two monsters. Also, thank you, Shadow. You're a great big brother. I told Shadow as I continued to hug him and pulling him in closer.
You're welcome, Sonic. Honestly, I think we were meant to meet each other. I mean, what are the odds of two anthropomorphic hedgehogs in the same facility at the same time like that? Yeah, there's no way it was just a coincidence.
Shadow said in return as he hugged me back. Finally, Donut Dad and Protomon returned from the interview room with the president not too far behind them.
Alright guys, it's all done and will premiere on the news tonight. So if you want to watch it for yourselves, check into News 12 at 7 p.m.
That's great. However, the question is, until that airs, should we wear disguises or not? I asked nervously.
Let's be on the safe side and do the disguises for now.
So then Shadow put on his disguise while Donut Dad helped me with mine and picked me up.
Well, let's go back to the hotel. Thank you, Mr. President, for your time. We really appreciate it.
No problem guys, and have a wonderful life.
The president told us right before we left the White House. We did it, guys. Now we're one step closer to complete freedom. Then we'll be able to go on vacations together. Well, that is, if the broadcast goes well. Also, I say we should watch it, just in case. Besides, we're going to be on television. I bet they got all our good sides. I said excitedly as we waited for a taxi to arrive.
You're absolutely right. It's gonna be cool, and we're going to be helping you out at the same time.
Crystal said excitedly. Then finally the taxi arrived and we headed back to the hotel.